What up, though, good people? This is your boy Chef EJ coming at you from Jelani Catering.
One time for my town niggas. Two times for my down south niggas. Three times for my west coast niggas. And one time for my town niggas. Two times for my down south niggas. Three times for my west coast niggas. And one time for my town niggas. Two times for my down south niggas. Three times for my west coast niggas.
What up, though, good people? This is your boy Chef EJ coming at you from Jelani Catering again. And as promised, we got another Valentine's Day dropper for you. Tonight, we're going to do Cornish Hen again. I just want to sprinkle you with a little more Valentine's Day game, with it being right around the corner. So stay tuned and cheers. Now, we're going to season our hens. Of course, Jelani's all-purpose house seasoning on both sides. Be generous. Not too much, but generous. Now we're going to add these to the flour. We're going to shake it up just like Grandma used to do, except for it's not a brown paper bag, it's a plastic bag. Now that our hens are coated nicely with flour, we're going to add them into our oil. Once again, always, always, always lay away. You do not want to burn yourself. Away. Make it a habit of always laying your protein away, okay? Presentation side down. Lay away. Lay away. Like your grandma used to do. Well, at least my grandma. Lay away. Lay away. Let's work on our carrot puree. Add just a touch of oil to our saucepan. Carrots with a clove of garlic. And just let that sweat down. Consistently stir those. A little bit of the oil on the bottom. Touch of oil on the top. And of course, Jelani all-purpose house seasoning. And continually stir. And now that our carrots sweated for about 5 minutes, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of chicken stock. And we're going to fill the rest of the pan up with just water. Some people like to use cream for their carrot purees. However, it brightens up the color and doesn't make it as orange as we're looking for in this corn puree. So we're just going to use a little bit of chicken stock and water for our puree and let that simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. And we're looking for a nice tender fall apart touch on our carrots. Now that we got color on one side, we're going to go ahead and turn our hens over. Look at that golden brown color on that side. Look at that golden brown. That's what we want on both sides. And we're going to let this cruise for about another 10 minutes. And of course, we're going to rotate it as needed. But yep, about another 10 minutes, and we'll have a nice golden brown color on both sides, which will bring our total cook time up to about 15-20 minutes, depending on how your oil is. I like to keep my oil at a nice 350, 325 temperature range so I can get that beautiful color and my chicken cooks, or I'm sorry, my hen cooks nicely. Now that we've added our carrots to our cup and they're ready to be blended, I'm just going to go ahead and blitz them. And we have a nice smooth puree. Next, we're going to go ahead and work on our sauteed greens, which the greens that we're going to use is just a little bit of mixed kale. But first, we're going to start with our mushrooms in a nice hot pan. Of course, turn the heat up a little bit after you add them. Add a touch of oil to know you're working. You're just going to go ahead and mix those mushrooms around just a little bit. What we're also going to do with these mushrooms in the pan is add our nicely sliced, thinly sliced onions along with them. Add a touch more oil, onions in the pan. We're going to go ahead and give those a stir so they're nice and evenly distributed in the pan amongst the mushrooms. And of course, you gotta hit it with our Jelani all-purpose seasoning. It's only right, like my boy Polyester say. It's only right. Touch more oil. Go ahead and stir. Now that our mushrooms and onions are nicely caramelized, we're going to go ahead and add our mixed kale greens right to the mix. Don't be afraid that the kale overcrowds the pan. Remember, it's a green. It cooked down. You know about collard greens, your grandma's collard greens. You know how it goes. They cook down and they're reduced to almost nothing. So we're just going to let these cook just a little bit with the mushrooms and onions. Kind of give them a little bit of stir. We're not going to season them just yet because we want to let them cook down so we can get it all in there. But what we are going to do is hit them with a little bit of my favorite wine. Y'all see that Earl Stevens Function Red Blend. Shout out to 40 Water because we drinking this like water. Go ahead and sprinkle that right in them greens. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. We're going to cook that alcohol out of there. Let that reduce. Let it reduce just a little bit. Mix in with the mushrooms. You see how that kale is already cooking down. Now, we're going to go ahead and season our kale now that it's nice and reduced from our wine. Touch more seasoning. And add a little bit of chicken stock. About a quarter cup to a half a cup, depending on how much kale you have in there. And of course, butter, butter, butter. It's about 2 knobs, as the Brits say. A knob or 2. And we're going to go ahead and mix that in there and let that butter and stock coat with the kale. Now that our greens have braised for about 15 minutes, it's time to go ahead and pull them off and rest them on a pan. And don't be afraid to get that liquid on the pan because we want that greens to absorb the juice while we plate. So that's perfectly fine. Now that we've got nice brown skin, beautiful golden brown skin, it's time to go ahead and take our birds out of the oil. Just look at that beautiful brown skin. That's the color you're looking for. And like I say, you want the temperature, the internal temperature of those birds to be 165. But look at that beautiful brown color. That's what you're looking for right there. Now, we're going to go ahead and put our final touches on our garnishes, which is our wedge tomatoes. Sear those nicely. You want to hear that sizzle. And once we get our tomatoes down, we're going to go ahead and add a touch of oil. That sizzle is a good thing, remember. We're going to season, of course, Jelani House all-purpose. Once each side gets good color, we're going to turn them over. And then, of course, take them off. And we definitely want good color and, of course, flavor on both sides. Got that color and flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and take them off. Beautiful roasted tomatoes. Nice pan sear on them and good seasoning.
Trench work.
Trick what? Ladies who? I don't know where you heard that. That ain't what I do. What I done for her, that don't apply to you. Baby,
Now, fellas, you can't tell me this fried Cornish hen ain't a dropper. Once again, I'm Chef EJ from Jelani Catering, and if you want to see another dropper, stay tuned. Cheers!
La da 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 da.